We typically start with the pledge, so why don't we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, then we'll do some introductions.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So, we have two people with us tonight who are not here at the first meeting. So we'll do a quick round of introductions so everyone knows who's who, and then we'll dive in. Cool?
Yes.
So, I think I know everybody, but Lynn Vizio, Township Council, and a member of this working committee.
Kristen Frederick Leonard, Township Council, and a member of this committee.
Al Ronderos. I'm a resident, I guess.
And
Dawn.
an active, engaged resident of that.
Yes. Well, and a member of this committee. Oh, I forgot that.
Dawn Gaffney, yep, member of the community, on the committee. Yeah, just here to help.
I'm Joanna Sherapin, and I work for Parks and Rec for the town.
Becky Cosgrave, a resident of the community and a neighbor of Lynn.
Okay, Karen Weiss, Township Manager, member of the committee.
Brandon Strong, Information Technology with Plymouth Township, member of the committee.
Excellent. So this is good because we at least have some residents with us tonight and a few members of the township. And so just to be clear, right, Brandon as an IT specialist, like when we think about things like website, like that's going to be a sweet spot for him. So we thought it was really important to include someone. Karen Weiss, our township manager, knows just about anything any human being could possibly know about the township. So she's a great resource and source of any archived information, and we think the GPCC does a particularly good job of communicating, which is why we invited Phil and Joanna to be a part of this, because they do a great job, and if there's something we as a township sort of in a larger way can learn from them, we're happy to do it. And we asked residents that, if it's not glaringly apparent already, we thought would be smart, engaged, care about the topic, and people we could just count on to show up and dig in. So, and here you are. So one of the things we did last time, which we thought would be helpful, and Phil, being as fabulous as he is, actually saved the charts we worked off of. Those are in the back. But we did talk about what the goals, like, you know, we've got this committee together to talk about enhancing communication across the township. I mean, I think I've said this to lots of people, but we have amazing township employees who honestly do amazing work in every space. Our police, our township manager, public works, sanitation crew, our IT staff. I mean, everybody does great work, and everybody does their best to communicate, like to get information out. No one is ever trying to withhold information or hide things. As a council, we always want to be transparent. We want to keep people engaged, but you know, hey, stuff changes, times change. There's new ways to communicate. There's new expectations around communication, and so our goal is just to think about, we've done things well in the past, but how do we up our game to stay current and to make sure we're getting into residents' hands the information they want. That's the gist of it. When we talked to the group last time, we said, what should some of our goals be when you all think about like this, like with enhancing communication, what does that look or sound like? And the flip charts in the back were the places where we kind of captured what everybody shared. But in a nutshell, there was a lot of conversation about balancing things like the push and the pull, meaning making it really easy on our website where people want something. You know, my neighbor's putting up a fence. I'm wondering if they're allowed to put up a 12-foot fence. Like, can we go find the ordinance? Or do you want to rip your hair out when you get there? Like, you know, when you want to pull things, can I pull them? Can I find it? When I want to find out about something the GPCC is doing, is it easy to find? So we want to do a good job with the pull, and also, is there something different we can do with push, meaning like, can we put things in your hands so you don't have to hunt for it? And what's the stuff people want without having to hunt? Like, do people want to see our council agendas every month? Do they want things pushed about traffic, you know, on a given day? Like, what's the stuff people want to hear about? So that was a big part of it. There was a lot of conversation about text messaging, potentially doing a better job with text messaging, places where people can opt into information, so don't just blast stuff out, but a lot of conversation about being more customized, so people can say, give me that, no, don't want that. Keeping things simple, so a lot of conversation about website, texts, FAQs, again, balancing push and pull, And there was some conversation about exactly what we think people might want to hear more about, so we started that. And then the orange is actually a list of, we said, what are all the places that currently, like, we communicate? Like, what's out there now? Which was kind of eye-opening, because some people were like, really? I had no idea there was a that. So we captured an inventory of everything that currently exists today. It doesn't mean all of them are heavily used. It doesn't mean people like them or want them. It just means they're there. That's our starting point. So that's sort of the stage setting. We agreed, in order not to just be constrained by our own thinking, to go out and each talk to whatever we could, ideally like 8 or 10 people, and see what they thought, right? To ask some questions about, like, where do you go get your information? What do you want to hear about? What works, what doesn't? So that's sort of where we left last time, and we said this time we'd come in and kind of report out, like, what did we hear? What did we find? So that's where we are, and I was hopeful tonight that we could start to, like, get it all out, literally, like, on paper, like up on the walls, so that if you're visual and you don't want to commit it all to memory as people are talking, we kind of have reference points to this, and then we can kind of, like, wrestle with what's there, and we can, if we need more data, we can go validate some of it. If we think, like, that's fabulous, there's something in there to explore, we can explore it. You know, we can decide as a result of seeing what we see what the next step is. Does that sound good? So what I thought we could start by doing, and that's why I wanted, and we could each take some time if we need to kind of summarize what's on our sheets. And I think Kristen inherited Stephanie's sheets.
I did.
So she probably doesn't have a summary. But here's what I'm thinking. And then I will ask her, I always defer to the wisdom of the crowd. If you think we should do something different or there's a better way around it, I'm all ears. I thought for some of the places where we literally were, like, ticking boxes, like we asked people, where do you go to? Hey, if you're looking for information, where do you go? And somebody says the website, so I went, click. I go on the Facebook page for the Plymouth Township Police, click. So I thought all of these we could literally take account. Yeah. Like, if I could say, how many people have said yes to the website, and Brandon goes 3, and Karen says 6, and we'll literally just tally it up so that we can kind of see, like, where people are headed. So for the questions that had these tick boxes, I actually created a sheet where if you could do that kind of report out, I got 4 of those, 2 of those, 3 of those. And then places where we asked open-ended questions, like, what are your thoughts about the mediums you currently use? What do you like? What works well? What doesn't? Like, if each person could just come up, and you don't have to put everything that came out on every sheet, but just thematically, like, people said they love this. They love what the GPC does about this. What they don't love, we need better search functions on our website. Like, if you could just theme some of your learnings and list them here. So we'll literally each grab a pen, put your themes up. If Kristen writes, people said better search function on the website, I don't have to write the same thing. I might just take my pen and go, yep, 1 more of those. So we can also work off of what we see other people posting. Same thing is true in the back. So the entire survey is represented on the walls, right? So the entire survey is here, question by question. So same thing. Have you visited the Plymouth Township website? Yes or no? You know, yep, I got 4 yeses, 2 no's. What do people think about it? What doesn't work? So there's a place to basically record everything. So we can do 1 of 2 things. I'll throw this out there. And if you're looking at this going, she's insane, we just talk about it, you can say that to me and my skin is thick and I won't be hurt. Or if we want to have sort of some written record, then you have some other suggestion. Give it back to me. I mean, does recording it sound like a good idea, like having some written stuff that we can look at?
Especially after you hung up.
Yes, that's exactly what
I'm writing something on one of these pieces of paper. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to remember something to write down, like on every piece, right?
Yeah. So we could, with these ones that have the tick boxes, that could just be part of your, as you're going around, just put your number up here, you know.
Okay.
3 said this, 1 said this, nobody said that, 2 said this. Like, you can do that, or we can kind of do that together if it's easier. Whatever works. And if you've got a pen and you want to just go around and add it to the charts, you can. Does that sound okay? Mm-hmm. So if you need a few minutes to, and again, I apologize. If I was thinking clearly 2 days ago, I should have sent out something and said, you know, it'd be a good idea to summarize these. if you want a few minutes just to summarize yours, take some time. We'll take whatever you need to summarize yours, and then when you're ready, grab a pen and just record what you have on the appropriate charts. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent. And then we'll dig into what's there.
I've eaten all this without my own.
Look at this, right into action. I love it.
This is the only part I have.
That's okay. Whatever you have, we'll do. And if we find
So
there's
I
gaps,
got,
because
five.
whatever, I mean, we got missing people tonight, we'll do more. If we feel we need it.
Yeah, you know, I think,
Whatever you found, is good stuff. If something's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I was really surprised about? How little people would go to the township website for information.
I had a lot of people who went there, but only for like something very, very administrative, not for any other source of
Right,
info.
exactly,
Mhm.
yes.
Yep. That was my experience as well. All right. I'll get my stuff up on the wall, and then if I can help you with Stephanie's.
Okay.
I'll try and free myself to do that, so that you're not stuck with a pile of stuff you haven't looked at yet. No worries. What are the boards called in front of the mall? You know, like the
Digital sign, it's over here.
That's it.
And if we need more paper at any point,
No,
we
not
have,
right now, no.
we have plenty of paper. We can post it up. We try to put a couple sheets up for open-ended questions.
I'm going to put the most interesting response I got. This is literally what the man said.
Tell me how you really feel.
Well, he's a resident of the Pinnacle, so that might explain.
Okay.
Okay, he lives there.
So,
Yeah.
no, I didn't say that, but it's the orange marker.
So, that's,
Okay,
you know,
apparently I did.
valid business. Let me see here. So. think it keeps us humble too.
Yes.
But, you know, Virtual Wednesday, elderly president, she doesn't have her hair. She's had She was curious about emergency things, and so I signed her up for COVID. I asked her if you call me, so you know, and call you know.
Right.
It's okay to tell me things if you want to tell me, you know, your name has yourself put on the list. She said yes, but it was interesting. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hi.
I think I'm in the wrong section here.
We're just writing our results on the board.
Beyond the curve.
If you need a marker, feel free.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to write any, feel free. Whatever works.
Okay.
What does?
Facebook.
That's what my younger crew said. All Facebook and all Google. I'm like,
Well, now Facebook's in the middle though, because the young generation doesn't use Facebook.
ah.
So here, we just want to put
Okay.
the number of people.
Yes, exactly.
So it's very weird because I'm like, yeah, and my kids are like,
It's
we can't
hard.
go off what you say. I'm like, okay, then tell me what you would do. Like, you know, so you gotta hit all that you do.
It's hard.
I'm like, all right.
You got this one?
Hey there.
probably one of my recent calls because I think, well, you know, it takes like about 3 or 4 minutes to go through the 4,000, the phone numbers on there. No, I'm not surprised. Did he tell you what it said? Just the message, because sometimes you get my text, because he's on the team. Yes, I did. I said, yes, I did, but it's not here. Yeah, I said, how did you get it? He's like, I got it on my phone. Yeah, how did you get it? So it does take, it takes only a couple of minutes to do like 4,000 calls at a time for that robocall thing, if they did think, and where do you guys live? But they may have just done like, you know, a quarter-mile radius.
And they could have just done that too.
And, you know, like it might not include everybody.
Right.
They do,
But it's definitely working.
oh yeah, that system works really well. I mean, it does. But, let me just see, voice message. Oh, you know what, here's a call that I got, but I had, I don't know why.
Let me keep you on hold for an important message.
Lynn, Chris, where's Kristen?
From Plymouth Township Police Department, please avoid the area of Maplewood Drive,
Is that
Plymouth
correct?
Road, and Newman Street due to police activity.
Just avoid those streets. Plymouth Road, Maplewood, and Newwood Street. Okay, I'll have a text for you right now.
Yeah.
Paul's on his way home, so he called.
So that, I mean, it
He's
does
like,
work.
do you know there's
You
police
indicate
activity? And I'm like,
Plymouth Township Day to every-
yeah. I'm like, I'm at the meeting, I'm at the meeting, and I'm telling him, and I go, by the way, how do you even hear about that? And he goes, on my phone. I said,
Physical
I understand that, but can you tell me how it got there? So that I was saying,
Yeah, I went up there. But look at
Karen.
I was saying to Karen, like, that's working, the communication, because he got it, and he's, everything's good, like, yeah. It's fine, so something's working. So we're the community about communication, so
It's really
people
fun.
are getting it.
What, digital signage?
On, yeah, at our main
I've talked to a lot of
entrance, like
people who are like, oh,
CMS put a brand new one in, they didn't have one before, they just hold for the sign up.
But they tilted it on
Parents
parents
come
coming
in
back
every day.
Exactly.
Or you can just come to these
Yeah,
meetings
I
and get all the
even with
information.
doesn't
Or
have
that,
their-
I just don't even
Right,
need it.
They have it out on 73. They've got it out on 73. You're right, I mean, to get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And they are, you know, they're very expensive, but I just think it's the quality. Personally, I can't stand that. I'm just too old for this world.
People pay attention to that.
If they don't flash too fast, they turn too
Yeah,
quickly.
yes. Yes.
Well, on the turnpikes, you
Yeah,
know,
done.
they have a thing where it's every 8 seconds is what like PennDOT has determined is a safe amount of time where people aren't going to keep looking at it as they're driving, you know, and not paying attention on the turnpike. So that's how, at 60, 70 miles an hour, they decided 8 seconds is the right amount of time before you can actually read it and you're past it.
Right.
You're going fast. So, but I was telling Lynn, a lady called me today, she's very concerned, a resident. She said, I still have a landline. I said, do you have a computer? No. And she wanted information, just on like how emergencies, like what should she do with the earthquake and the weather changes and like that kind of thing. So I said, are you signed up for the Code Red for the emergency? She said no. And I said, I can sign you up. So I did that. So then I said, Mike Matiszewski can send you, I said, we can send you some stuff in the mail, you know, what to do in a weather emergency, what to do, and your candles and your batteries and your flashlights and, you know, your gallons of water, and just to be prepared. She's prepared. She just wanted to be prepared if something were to happen. She wanted to know, elderly. Yeah, I said, well, sure, we can send you stuff. Now, no, she's on it. She apologized for being on her landline, and I said, don't you apologize? I said, I had one too. It's cheaper than the triple bundle's cheaper than the double bundle.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and I don't actually have Comcast.
What's over here?
But I do have the landline and the internet probably it's hard.
We get people that don't have computers, that they say, how do I sign up for summer camp? The registration form was completely online. And these are just people with kids, like,
Yeah.
like they walk in.
No,
We have them come in and we do it
With
we have them do it on our,
We have a certain one that needs the desk, yeah. Yeah, and I really bet there's more people than that than we think.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't have computers at home. Yeah.
it's not that they don't know how to use them.
Well, some-
They just don't have, they don't think it's
Some
some.
of them.
And I'll tell you, trying to do some things with your cell phone,
It's too hard, too small. Well, it doesn't even read the same.
Unless it's a really well-developed
Correct.
website. Like, a lot of times you'll make a website, you won't think about how it will look on a phone.
No.
Like our website can be kind of hard to navigate.
Yeah,
on a phone.
because everything on the.
It's too small.
The
For
nav
us, the
bar.
sidebar goes all the way down at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've opened it up on my.
So now we've learned to be like, okay, are you looking at it on your phone or on your computer?
It's a very important.
It's very
distinction.
different.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's the phone.
Well, I mean, I can't blame.
Yeah.
I don't know if people ever continue the survey. My daughter thought put it on Google Forms. A
Yeah.
lot of people would take the survey.
My sister said the same.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And blast out to the community. I mean.
Yeah, if we want more information about how people, this is a limited number of people, but
Google Forms looks great on the phone too.
it doesn't. It works on the phone and or on a tablet
Yeah,
or
of
whatever
course,
else.
yeah.
But I guess most people are scrolling on their phone.
Yeah, but Google Forms is really easy to use.
Yeah.
And it's anonymous too.
Okay.
Can be.
Yeah,
You can choose
okay.
to be not
Mhm.
anonymous.
I mean, we might want to put that out there for a week or two. You probably get thousands of results, hundreds of.
That's okay. The
Yeah.
other thing with Google Forms is that you can sort it by the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It goes
you can
into
break it
a
down.
spreadsheet and you can just pull
Okay.
out what you want.
Yeah.
You
That
can
might
make graphs.
be a good idea.
Visualize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an amazing tool.
Yeah.
Hey, we're twins. Sort of.
Might have been able to.
Yours holds more water.
But I do have the same lid,
Yes. Indeed.
which mine is empty.
Some has that one. No, it's bigger.
It does. That one's nice because you can fit it in the cup holder.
It does fit in the
This
cup
does
You
not
can't.
fit in a
See,
cup
that's the
holder
catch.
at all.
Carry it.
What brand is that one?
That's why this one goes to and from work.
Hydra Peak. Hydra.
There's so
not
many
Hydro.
out there now.
It's TJ Maxx.
Quite the market.
Yeah,
But,
you keep us humble, right?
Yeah.
That- He literally said that.
Oh.
It's a resident of the Pinnacle, you know? They, I guess he doesn't care. He
Yeah,
says
maybe they're just like,
They, you know, they have their
no
own little
interest.
world. in
they're
there.
their own little community.
It's
Yeah.
really big.
Wow.
What's it?
Timbuktu.
Ooh.
Hope he doesn't ever need assistance from the township, right?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
He might change his mind when he needs something.
Yeah, right. Police officer or fire, ambulance.
No interest in Pullman Township, might as well be Timbuktu for all I care.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Maybe he's not happy it's beautiful. So that place is beautiful.
Karen, I have a question. So I wasn't apparently signed up for Code Red,
Okay.
which is fine, now I'm signed up. But I did get an email
Okay.
from no reply at onsolve.com. Is that Code Red?
That's Code Red.
All right, well then, I
It's
don't
the
know
same
what
company.
I don't know what I'm doing there. It let me sign up, so.
How do you know if you're signed up?
Did you just get the phone call, the emergency phone call? If you
That's
didn't,
how I
you're
knew.
Probably not signed up if you didn't.
Yeah.
But like I said, so it's like a robocall, you know, like
I got one I got one through the school district.
Okay.
Is it
About
that one?
tonight's things. Well, no, the township has a
Okay.
company that we use to make mass notifications. You do have to sign up for it. Many years ago when we started, the company got from Verizon, when everybody had a landline, and whether you were just, remember the days when they made phone books and you were either listed or unlisted numbers? Do you remember that, Brian?
Not quite.
Oh, gosh. And every year they gave you a new phone book, you know?
Everywhere
I
I
used to
go,
sit
it makes
on
you
the-
feel
Yes,
bad.
it was a
Every
high
single
chair,
day,
right? It
what?
was the high chair. So, but when we first started, they were able to give us all the phone numbers, whether they were listed or unlisted, because from the 911 system. Like they had everybody's phone number, right? But then as people got cell phones, and then they started giving up the landlines, so the Verizon list is, you know. So now you have to go on the township website. It's on the homepage. It's a little round circle. It says Code Red, and you can sign up for notifications. You can sign up for just the emergencies, what we consider emergencies, or community events like a street's going to be closed because there's a 5K run, or it's Plymouth Township Day. Come on out. Like there's community announcements or emergencies. You can sign up for both, or one or the other. You can tell it you want a phone call on your cell or at your home, at your work. You can use an email, 3 emails. You can say text me, email me, give me a call. You set it up how you want it. And then when there's an emergency for the township, you'll get it.
Right.
Now, if it's like they had a thing the other night, it just pertained to a certain area, so they can literally take they can draw like a map, hold the stylus and just go exactly where they want, these streets, this neighborhood, that neighborhood, or they can say a quarter-mile radius from this point, or mile, whatever. So it can get a targeted audience.
It seems like that would address some of the issues.
Yeah.
That we have, because you have a tool. You can do it specific, like I want road closures or crime, or
Yeah.
I can make it specific to what I want.
Exactly.
But how the way, I just found out tonight being here, is there a way to push out that there is a code red option?
Well, but I don't have everybody's phone number.
I know. So
And I don't have everybody's email address. So that's how. There's really not a way. If people don't look
Actively
at a website or a newsletter or at something, a message in their sewer bill or whatever else we have to put it out there. But yeah, if they don't look, they won't know. Like I said, I had an elderly woman call me today, and she wanted information for like emergencies. She was concerned there was an earthquake a couple weeks ago, and she said, like with weather or a tornado, which we don't usually get, but it could happen, right? It happened a couple of years ago in Upper Dublin. So she said, I want to be prepared. I'm alone. I don't have a computer. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have any of this stuff. So I said, I can sign you up.
People did over.
And I went and I said, give me your name, your address, your phone number. But she called me. And I called her. So she knew she was talking to the township. She called me. And I said, so she gave me information. I signed her up. Now it'll go to her home landline. And I said, and if you don't want to answer it, it goes to an answering machine or something if you have that. Like the phone number, I gave her the phone number, and it ends in 5000. That number, is a phone number that will be used. And then I said, so if you want to let it go to a machine, you don't recognize the number or something, you don't have to answer it, but you'll get a message.
Yeah, what does it come up as? Because like the
it's
shore
something
has
like
it's
5,000.
emergency communication is how we get it from the shore.
Yeah, it's
That might be
message. The phone number was 866-419-5000. As soon as I saw that, I go, oh, there's the message, because I know that. I just told her that today.
It
Ends
does
in
tell
5000.
you when you go on Code Red, it'll either come up with the name or the number, because I just registered, but
I'm registering now.
I didn't think I was
do that.
registered,
I don't know why.
but then I had an email from no reply at OnSolve, but Paul got a phone call, so he called me, and he's like, did you get this? And I'm like, no, but how did you get that, and what are you getting it on? And so then I registered, and then it says no reply at coderedweb.com. But if you just go on Plymouth Township, at the very bottom, it'll say Code Red to sign up. So apparently I did it at some point, but it let me sign up, or maybe, I don't know, maybe Paul has his phone number and my email address, so both of us are getting it, maybe that's how it's set up, maybe his is set up that way. It was like, like the snow emergencies, or don't park on the street,
Maybe I'll take some and you take some. There's some pages.
Through the school.
Right, we don't.
But that, I think, would really address some of these issues. You know, people say, someone tell her one thing to me.
Oh, I wonder if I have the other.
Time and weather and
This,
traffic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I probably have some more things, but some of them are kind of miscategorized on mine.
I'm
But
I'm wondering if in the service of time, we just get yours up, and then maybe we'll have a discussion, we can add these in.
Yeah, I can look through, as we discussed, I can look through and see if I have anything to add.
Okay, that sounds good.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Kristen is finishing, here's what I think we can do next. So two things I'm thinking. One, we should probably have a conversation. Becky raises, I think it's a brilliant question. Like, how diverse was our random sampling of residents? And I don't think we all have to like report exactly the diversity of your group, but even if we can just be reflective on like I could speak to my own group. Did I get a diverse sampling? Like in some ways yes, in some ways no. So maybe if we each kind of reflect a little bit, just maybe be prepared to answer how diverse was our sampling. And if it wasn't diverse, I don't think no harm done. Let's go back out and figure out if there's some gaps. Maybe we can talk about that.
why don't we just announce who we talked to, more or less, just describe them.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. So that could be step one. And then step two, so let's get a sense of that. And if we feel like there's gaps, let's make a note of it and figure out what gaps we need to fill. And then my thought is, if each one of us sort of took a chart and went over to like a question and just be prepared to kind of like read through what's up there and kind of spit it back to the group. So we can go around and go, well, here's what we got. I totaled all these up. We're mostly this, or I read these. I see some themes. If we each took one question, we could be ready to kind of summarize it back to the group rather than each of us walking up here trying to study what's on the chart and figure out what's in it. So maybe those are our next two steps. Does that feel reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. So Kristen, how much time, no pressure, how much time do you need just to finish putting your stuff up?
My own stuff?
Yeah.
5 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you mind if while you're doing that, if we just sort of start the diversity conversation?
Go for it.
And then maybe by the time you're finished, you can chime in.
Okay.
And we'll take good notes, we're going to do this.
Got it.
And then we can talk about sort of what's in there. Does that sound good? Okay. Cool. So, I like your idea, Al. Maybe we just sort of like divulge who we talk to, and let's kind of see if it seems like we got a pretty diverse cross-section, or if not. Maybe we just did naturally, or who knows. Cool. Anybody thrilled to go first?
I'll go first. I don't care.
Awesome.
For me, it was me, my husband, I have 2 kids, 20 and 22. I walk with my neighbor who's in her early 60s, so I grabbed her and her 2 kids, which are 22 and 26 or whatever. So it was kind of like just, hey, what do you use, what do you don't use? My neighbor is still like, I'm like, if you have a question at the Plymouth Township, what do? I pick up the phone. I'm like, you don't go to the website? No, I just call. I'm like, what if you, nope, I'm calling. Okay. And then the kids go the total opposite side and go, I want Facebook and everything Google. So like they were Googling even tonight, like, okay, what events are in Plymouth meeting on Google? And they're like, we can't find anything. I'm like, okay, calm down first. Like you found stuff in the park and things like that. So I think there's a whole different perspective of age groups and where they're looking for that information and how that just, comes across. Like what I'm looking for, and that's what they said. You look somewhere totally different than we do. Like we look here, so knowing that of where everyone's getting their information was kind of like, oh yeah, okay. It was a little eye-opening for me.
How would you describe where you live?
Where I live?
Yeah.
Like I live in Black Horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and mostly, when you say your neighbors, they're neighbors in your neighborhood.
Yep.
So we kind of covered
Yeah.
like Ward 1.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
And I can grab a couple more, but we're all pretty much the same age. I'm probably going to get the same answers. It's the same type of, it's kind of like you have that younger population, like all the kids graduated together, and then you have all of us that are, the same age. But
Yeah, so you kind of got the 20-somethings and the 50-somethings and lots of people from Black Horse, Ward 1.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
So I'll go next. I talked to 10 people. A couple of them are people I've known from before. One is a long-term resident of an apartment building, one of the older apartment buildings. Another is a homeowner who lives over in Narcissa area. And then most of the others are people that I have met either through political activity or because I work as an election worker. So they're people that probably are a little more connected than most. But there were 4 people who live in Plymouth Hill, in the condos up there. There was a person who lives in a townhome community over on the other side of Germantown Pike. Let's see, apartment dweller, a resident of the Pinnacle who had no interest at all in anything. He just wanted to do his thing. He did invite me for lunch, so that was nice.
Not a complete loss.
There you go.
So, yeah, so that more or less describes the people and one of my neighbors, who is also, who's politically connected a little bit.
That sounds great. So it sounds like you had a group that might be more, except for the Pinnacle person who didn't want to talk at all. It sounds like people who are a little more engaged just in the community.
Generally, except for 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them are, I guess you'd say, just people I happen to know that were just, long-time residents.
And, age range is pretty mixed.
Yeah, I would say most of them anywhere from, let's say, the mid-40s through their 70s.
Okay, sounds great.
No kids.
No, so, yeah, no.
Yeah, no younger people.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Al.
Mine were all midday people who come into the community center. Most of them just call. Like if they are looking for information, they pick up the phone and they call.
So we got, it sounds like if they're there midday.
Yes,
like,
right, 65,
Yeah, maybe
70s.
the retired
Yep.
community
Absolutely.
and GBCC users, so people
Yes.
again who maybe have some engagement with the community versus our Pinnacle friend who didn't want to talk.
Yeah, well, 3 of mine were not, connected at all, so.
Yeah. One of the things we probably haven't talked about too much is like a mix of like men and women.
Yeah.
Were your populations all pretty
Mix.
pretty
Mix.
mixed? Okay, that's cool.
Mix.
I had all women except.
My mom.
Oh, no, 2. Yeah.
All women in 10.
Yeah.
All right. That's good.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
So far we're maybe a little heavy on women.
Yeah, mine were about 5 women.
Okay.
There were, I did try to be diverse politically. There were 3 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 2 don't know.
Cool. Okay.
I did probably 3 like 60s with no children at home, 5 in their 50s with maybe like a college-age kid home, 1 in their 40s with middle school kids, 2 in their 30s, and 1 in their 20s.
Yeah. Good age range.
So
And you had mostly women.
they're probably mostly women. 1
And 10. Me too.
One other might have been a man. I had like one of my friends said, "Oh, can I give it to my neighbors?" I'm like, "Yes," because I only know like people my age. So she had some younger families. And that's a good question. I don't know if they answered if it was a man or woman. And they're all like they're all off Wilmington, off Sheffield, down Jolly, over like Locust Lane area, the back way to Target.
Yeah.
What's that road? Johnson?
Rivers,
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
Back way to
No,
Florida.
like, what's the one when you go onto Germantown, turn left, and then you can turn right? Is that Johnson? No. Yeah, Johnson. That takes you
Johnson Highway?
Johnson Road.
Johnson Road.
Johnson.
I just do it without thinking.
You covered a few wards. That's good. You covered a few wards.
Yeah.
Travel equivalent.
That's good.
All right, for me, it was 2 people in my current development, 4 people from my older development, actually like 1 semi-stranger. Well, I was just in line at the market at Giant and went, oh, man,
I like
that. Because
That's
I
so cool.
figured if I could, you know, get someone that I had no connection to, it would be a little bit different. And then, well, actually, fourth neighborhood. And for me, it was a split because most of them, everyone is husband and wife, so I did husband and together.
Oh, good.
Except for the one stranger, which happened to be a woman. And I think the ages probably are from 30s to about maybe 60. Like the stranger could have been like 60. I'm not great with ages, but like my neighbors are mid 30s, early 40s, and then that person and the neighbors all have. Most of them have younger kids, like that's in like Plymouth Elementary or in the middle school, and so as far as where they were reaching out and going is different based off of the children, but like they're not in tune, like in as far as like politically or in touch from that point of view. It's a lot of it is socially like what's going on in the, you know, and they look at it from that point of view. And just the one thing I would say, just the one difference was they did mention when they were not in the development now because we have our own little thing, but when they were more focused on when they purchased a home and doing things like that, technical stuff, they go to the website for that type of stuff. But so they kind of utilize the website for, like I said, the technical stuff, ordinances, codes, and things like that. And then social, they go to or events, they go to the social media side.
Kind of fell down on my homework, sorry.
All right.
I
You're
have
very well, thanks, Molly.
I have a survey from my daughter who's 39. She lives in the township. And I did give a couple to my neighbors, but they didn't give them back. I said, could you, you know, and she said she would fill them out, and I said, could you put them in my mailbox? Oh, sure. But they didn't. But and they were like in the early 70s, so just they forgot. I don't know what. And I filled one out myself. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
So just to preface, I actually don't live in the township. So I had I don't know many people in the township aside from people I work with. So I had them take a look at the people I interviewed at our website, gave them some background information on how we disseminated information, and they made their judgments based on what they saw, and also some of the grumblings they have about their township websites and media. So most of them were mid-20s to mid-30s, and I had two in their 50s, and most of what I got back was Facebook. Sometimes they randomly or accidentally come across information from the township, and it would be informing, but generally speaking, they go to Facebook for their news and updates, and then they would call the township as well with any questions. Because I think they said I think sometimes when there's not a lot of information going around, there can be kind of this mystical element to a township where you're not really sure. There's kind of a barrier of entry, so you're not sure where to go with information, so just call them and ask them and have them help you through it. So that's where my results came from.
Oh, and I didn't mention, as far as the location, some was, like the current neighbors are, I live in Oakville or Oak something.
Oakwood.
Oakwood, yeah. So it was them, and then where we used to live, I think, is Plymouth East. That development, like right off Butler Pike. It's so close to like Ridge Park.
Oh, it's like where Ridge Park, right next to Ridge Park.
Yeah, because if you blink, you're actually in Conshohocken.
Yes.
So you got to teeter. So it's that.
Like Cardinal View, like the old
Yeah.
that area.
It was that side, and then like I said, where I live at now. Then I didn't ask strange.
No, it's all good. So I interviewed a mix of people. I think I got a good mix of people in their 30s all the way to their 60s, and a good blend of different parts of the township, and people in different points, like with kids, like some with like young school age, like elementary school kids, high school, someone else, high school, kids out of school, no more kids in the house. I did a good job with there. I ended up with all women, not intentionally, but that's a gap. So I didn't end up, I did reach out to a couple of guys and it didn't come through. So that's a gap in mine. They were all women. And I think there were, as a result, there were probably some similarities, but I think with the mix of like age groups, that helped a little bit in terms of the results, but I can see the flaws in my own sort of respondent group. And also probably a good mix of people of different political persuasions, but probably all people who are a little more just engaged, generally speaking.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Mine was definitely more women than men. There was about 3 men and 7 women. Most of them were people around my age, but I did get a few people who were in their 20s. What else? I do think that they probably were mostly Democrats as well, and probably all have younger kids. And a lot of these people said that they go to social media for their information. There's a lot of the same thing. And a lot of comments about, I read emails all day at work. Why would I want to read them when I get home? Or I get so many, they get lost. Which I can identify with too. And lots of people mentioned wanting texts. And a few people mentioned wanting to have, because I brought up the idea of opting in or opting out, and a few people said, I would rather be able to choose what I'm opting into and what I don't want based on the subject. Like my husband, for instance, was like, I don't care about the police, but tell me about road closures, construction, anything that's going to affect my like normal day. Trash collection. Send me a text when there's a trash holiday. He is very he's always very focused on work and doesn't think about anything else until the very last second. So it's like a totally answer I would expect.
Well, general reactions, what do we think we're missing? I mean, hearing sort of the population we captured this round, are we missing anybody?
How many apartment dwellers? I had one.
Yeah, I didn't.
I had one.
Okay, so.
I had one of the Pinnacle too,
Yeah.
and I got election night.
So that might be a gap. Some of our apartment dwellers might be a group we didn't tap well enough.
Yeah, the other thing about the apartment dweller that I talked to, there's somebody that's lived there 30, 40 years, a long time. It's a long-term resident. So they're not, apartment dwellers tend to be transient, more transient.
Yeah. I mean, there are some different issues, right, with apartment dwellers. Not only might they be more transient, but even things like if we stuff things in a sewer bill, if you're in an apartment, you don't get a sewer bill.
Right.
I mean, there's one type of communication you don't ever see that everybody else sees. So it's a good point. Like, they might have different needs than our homeowning population.
So if we wanted to continue the survey at all, if it could be a week or another month, but like my daughter brought up the Google Forms for survey because she
Oh,
thought
that's
a
a
lot
good
of
idea.
people would use that and give us feedback.
Yeah.
And it would
Yeah.
be quick and
That's a good
easy
idea.
and
Cool.
Some people, I had a bunch of people not get back to me. And so in some of these cases, I feel like it might be helpful for us to leave the question less open-ended. Although I agree with how we approached it originally, I feel like some people were like, I don't know how to answer these questions, and then just didn't give it back to me.
and some of them, I comment like some of the
They're like,
some
I
of the-
don't know.
Some of the questions have like 4 questions in them.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
if we broke it out, just one
Yeah.
question at a time, and maybe not as you don't have
Plus-
to make 18 of them, but just kind of
Yeah.
just simplifying it, like take
They overlapped a lot. I
Yeah,
noticed I was
yeah.
answering questions later on,
Right.
earlier. And the other thing I noticed just from the various descriptions of people is it seems like some people interviewed people and other people asked them to fill it out. I think you might get a little different.
Yeah, I did a mix of both.
Yeah.
But I think if we're asking people to fill stuff out on their own, the open-ended questions start to get like where they get stalled.
It takes more time.
Yeah, you have
And
to
a lot of people who
to
also
bring that
got
out.
back to me were like, I don't think I was helpful at all. I really didn't, barely wrote anything.
So,
Okay.
so we've got suggestions to go with a Google form.
That's
Like if we
good.
want to go another round, so let's just start there. Should we go another round and continue?
I think so.
That was gonna be my question.
So it's,
How do
What?
you-
it's very easy to, because you don't need to have, so it's based on Google. So we create the Google form, and then you just send them a link, a shareable link. You don't need to have a Google account to answer the questions. They can be anonymous,
So
or
who sends the link? Like,
You could put it on
Yes.
Facebook and they
Yeah,
can
so-
scroll and see it.
But
Oh,
we
I'll
could
take that
also,
little
you,
survey.
you could also send it. Like if we
Yeah.
wanted to, if we wanted to, again, go after people that like intentionally were trying to, okay, we know we didn't get many apartment dwellers, we could probably use some more men, we didn't have very many people in their 70s or 80s. I mean, those are three things that popped up to me when we listened. It'd be helpful if we didn't just, we could just put it somewhere and say anyone's welcome to answer it, but we might also want to say, if you're willing to do this, I'll send you a link, click on here and answer the form, or I can interview you if you prefer that.
I think a sewer bill goes out in July. Does that sound right?
I know it's
Yes.
due on the 20th of
We
this
could
month.
put a QR code in the sewer bill,
That's a good
and that
idea.
would target just residents. You put it on Facebook, you're going to get answers from everyone and their
I was
brother.
gonna suggest though, if we put it on Facebook, maybe having like a box like I live
Yes,
in
you
Plymouth
could- absolutely
Township
could.
or I don't.
Yes.
So that you can just weed
Yeah.
out all the ones immediately that don't live here.
because
Because
those ways will not reach the 80-year-olds.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
but also the QR
Well, neither will the
codes-
QR code.
The QR
And
codes,
an email won't
that won't
either.
reach
No,
older.
no,
We're
it's
probably
hard.
gonna have
They
to
call.
personally
They
interview
call.
those
They
people.
call.
What
Yeah.
if you used the QR codes and went to the apartment complex's management office and said, would you be willing to send out to your residents, if I give you this QR code, you have to have a distribution list of all your residents.
They have
Would you
already
send
done
this out
this.
and, you know, have them fill it out? I don't know. I don't know how to get to the apartment dwellers.
Yeah.
I could answer that because I've dealt with Park at least, and they don't have a bulletin board. And when I asked them, because all I did was take a voter registration, form, not completely nonpartisan. Can I put this up on your bulletin board? We don't have that. We don't want it. We don't want to bother our people with any of this stuff.
Interesting.
So that's what you're going to run into.
I've heard that a lot though with voter registration stuff. They just don't want it in there.
Well, it's just everything.
No bulletin board.
That's the attitude I got. That
Yeah.
we just don't want to bother our people with this, stuff.
Okay, so the Google form via sewer bill is one way to get it out there to homeowners, but we might be missing some of our population that's like less tech inclined or tech savvy, and, I mean, not to stereotype, but that probably is
Or
some of,
live in an apartment.
some of the seniors, right? And
Everybody who lives
who's
in an
everybody in
apartment.
an
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah.
So that said, we could still do the Google form and say that'll continue to capture parts of the population, but we're going to need to do something else for other parts, like for our seniors and our apartment dwellers.
Do you think we should specifically like interview seniors though? I feel like that might be the best way. Like I know a few residents that I could definitely call and they'd probably be willing to do it.
What do we think? What do we think of that?
I have a connection at Pinnacle that I could reach out to.
You're going to get what it's
I don't know that they're all like that, but I mean, they kind of live in a bubble. They're in a self-sufficient
Yeah,
bubble in
yeah.
Pinnacle. So,
Right.
but I mean, if we wanted to pursue that, I could reach out to her and maybe pick a time where somebody goes down there and talks to some of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we catch 20 people.
Right. I've also had the opposite experience with the older generation. They have a lot of input sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what do we think of that? Do we want to try and interview some of the 70s and 80s? QR code, so any downside to putting the QR code in the sewer bill? Tightening up the-
Only that it's not going to go out until July.
Oh, July, that's right, we said that's the next one.
I think it's July.
April, May,
But I
June,
think
July. I'm pretty
about
sure
to
it's
pay
July.
mine. So
It's
does
the
that
20th.
make
It's due the
sense?
20th. I just checked.
Okay.
Because I don't pay it until, I'll be in here on the 20th paying my bill. Because I'm not paying the $2.25
Oh, I always pay
service fee or
online.
whatever's on there, right?
You could
I
still
just
do the
looked, but if
QR
it's
code.
due May, then it probably went out in April, which means it should go out again in July.
It went out in
June,
April,
July.
it was January, February,
Yeah, even
March,
if it's
it goes out
delayed,
in
it's
April.
probably still
Even if
helpful.
we
That
could just
could have
start
just
it
been
and then
when I
just put
had to
it
give
in.
it to Pat.
Yeah, like
Right.
starting on social media,
Yeah.
as long as we have like a checkbox, like, do you live in
Yeah,
Plymouth
yeah,
Township?
Yeah.
yeah, because you will get a lot of.
Maybe we should
Listen,
put,
they could
though,
still give us a good idea, though.
writing-
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay, here's,
It'll be
here's,
validated,
here's
nothing
another
else.
idea. Why don't we put it out on the township website, the QR code,
Yeah.
and see how many people do it, or put it out on the
Township.
GBCC
On
website?
the
We're-
township Facebook.
Yeah, we're doing a survey, and it may even tell us
Where
how many
they-
people are
Yeah.
looking. Like, you have like, all right, if we put it out there and 10 people click, okay, there's definitely not enough people looking at the website, but if 400 people click, maybe there's more looking at it than we think.
That's true.
There's,
Yeah.
you can pay
Township
to
Day
get
coming up?
summary
Plymouth
information
Township
like
Day
that
is June
on
1st,
QR
June
codes.
1st.
Oh, that's a good idea, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, I
Good
missed
idea.
that.
Plymouth Township Day, you said something, made me think there's Plymouth Township Day coming up, right?
Well, because Erin said to me today, she goes, Mom, why don't we know anything about Plymouth Township Day? All you get is like that little flyer on the street when you're driving down, you can't see it, it's a digital thing. She's like, why don't they send something out to all the schools for all the kids to bring home? And they like, all the kids are like, this Saturday is Plymouth Day, like where, all the kids go. And I said, okay, why didn't you tell me that when you were in school?
Stuff you do not want
Yeah.
to miss.
Still
The
have
kids
the
will be all
family
over it.
envelopes? I thought
Right.
they did away with
No,
family
they
envelopes.
don't allow us to pass out any
That's what I thought.
paper.
We used to send a lot of stuff to the schools.
But they-
It's
we have, like,
on-
in Conchi, we have like the.
It is, it's on their e-folder.
Do they have it?
Yeah.
All right. This is good conversation, but I'm cognizant of keeping you past our allocated 90 minutes.
One of my people had what I thought was a pretty good idea that might work for this,
Good
is
to
to
know.
put a notice on local libraries, not just in Plymouth, but like the Janes Library, the one in Woodpain, and the one in
I wonder if
Montgomery
they
County.
would do it, because they tell Plymouth residents they don't belong to those libraries. You can use them, but you don't belong to them, because you
I
don't.
see.
Their
So you
tax dollars in Woodpain and in White Marsh pay for those libraries. Plymouth contributes to the Montgomery County Public Library system,
I
and
see.
we're supposed, you can go to those libraries, but they may or may not do that for Plymouth Township residents. I would imagine they would not.
Okay.
They tell people, to get your card, you should go to the Conshohocken Free Library to get your card. You can take that to Jean's or the Wissahickon Library, and they have to let you in, but they don't love it. They just don't love it when non-residents go there.
I
And I don't
see.
think they would do something for us. They might, but I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a few things that work, though.
Yeah.
So we like the idea of a QR code, a Google form, tightening up the questions, putting it in the sewer bill, using social media, including our township page, our township website, and also posting it somewhere at Plymouth Township Day, so people who are there maybe walk about and scan and answer.
We
Other-
have a Facebook page for Black Horse. I'm sure I can put a QR code out there.
Oh, yeah.
And be
each
like, hey,
individual
like,
neighborhood
you know what,
page.
we have neighborhood,
Yes.
we're looking at some of this stuff, what, systems you guys
Yeah.
utilize, will you please go on and fill out the survey?
Yeah.
I mean, they may not, but I don't know if other, communities have that. Like,
Yeah,
they
my
do.
neighborhood,
They do.
neighborhood across
Yeah.
Germantown does too,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Valley
And
has
even like
one.
Talking
Talking
Plymouth,
Plymouth,
like
yeah.
one of the things
Oh,
that came
Talking
up
Plymouth,
was like,
yeah.
oh, I go to Talking, where do you get information? I go to Talking Plymouth.
Well, when you were talking about what was going on at the middle school, that's the first thing that I looked up was what did somebody say on Talking Plymouth? There was nothing at the time, but
I'm sure they have it
that's
now.
where I looked.
There's an interesting lesson in that, though, right? Like when you ask people where they look, like how many times did they say, I talk to other people, or I go to places like Talking Plymouth? They're going to places where there's like literally like community conversation, which I don't want to jump ahead. But so neighborhood pages, that sounds good. We can continue to enhance this list, but it sounds like we really like the idea of doing that. Do we want to do supplementary interviews, especially with people that we think are not going to be tech inclined? That idea
I
of
think
let's do
so.
some personal reach
Yeah.
to,
But do we know any? Do we know any?
yeah, like
I don't even know if I know any.
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here thinking, like, I don't
Sure there are, but.
come across.
I think your apartments are going to be your hardest reach.
Yeah,
Apartments.
the apartments and the seniors, which maybe there's a.
But we can
dip
hit a lot
there.
of seniors here.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, when you said when the people come here, do you get the 70 and 80-year-old crowd?
Mhm.
Like,
They're going to want to do paper pencil, which is fine.
No, we can take
Yeah,
a
that's
pencil.
fine, yeah.
Plymouth Township Day, you'll get a little bit of an older crowd.
We should probably do paper, pencil, and QR code at Plymouth
Yes.
Township Day
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yep.
So maybe we could put something here where like if seniors fill it out and they just leave it at the desk, that'd be fabulous. It sounds like we still need to get to the apartment dwellers, which is a little challenging, although you said you know somebody at Pinnacle. So that could get us
Pinnacle,
some
yeah,
info.
I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem.
Well, I know a couple of people at Park.
I was
but
gonna
they're-
say,
Oh,
would
okay.
it be easy,
They're
maybe
all-
give it to them and then have
thought
them give
people
it to other
owned
people?
Park.
That live there?
Is Park apartment or
Rental.
it's rental?
Rental,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I could also ask my friend at the other place across the way.
Yeah.
They may know
I
some
mean, we've
people.
got Place One, Park, I mean, there's lots,
There's lots.
Sussex.
Plymouth Gardens.
There is a
Plymouth
garden,
Gardens,
Yeah, there's actually a
Court.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Plymouth Town, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know that we have to get to every single one, but at least if we said we got to a number of people who live in apartments, that's helpful, it's something.
The one thing with that is will that be diverse enough? I mean, I don't know like the people that live in the apartments, but I would assume range from up here down to, well, I don't know, I guess I need to catch up. But I will, like, because we mentioned Pinnacle, but if we're only in Pinnacle, is that a diverse enough?
It's a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
Pinnacle
Well,
is
it's different
different
because
from.
it's assisted living, it's
Yeah,
independent
it's
living.
assisted
It's
living.
our
But even
own
the
like-
Well, I
difference
know
between
somebody
Park
else
and
at Park,
Sussex are
besides
like
somebody
this.
else.
Because pretty much everybody there is going to be over a certain age. At-
Yeah,
at
Pinnacle, yeah, they're all
It's-
going to be.
Yeah, all compared to all the other apartment complexes.
But
So
yeah,
it's-
that's all I would just think about is if, however many or whatever apartment complexes we want to try, look at it from a point of view of if we think it's diverse and who's in those apartments.
I think the apartments are going to be quite diverse.
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
in my opinion.
But they could see it on Facebook, right? They could see-
Totally.
They could totally see it on
Absolutely.
Facebook and take it that way. I guess
So-
you don't have an idea who comes in here, where they live necessarily. Some apartment dwellers and.
Oh, yeah,
and-
especially across the street.
Yeah,
Yeah, other side of Germantown.
yeah.
So, but it sounds like we will go after Pinnacle. Sounds like that could be its own maybe afternoon of interviews or walk in there with forms and ask people to fill them out, supplementary interview if that helps. Trying to get to people here, which will likely be more of a seniors crowd, not exclusively, but likely. Park, I mean, can we,
I could think of 3 people that I could call.
I have one
Okay.
person.
I know someone I can call.
I know one
Park,
person
too.
in Park too that I can easily get to help.
But then, I mean, you know, I'm talking, these people are, 2 of them at least are, you know, they're politically active types. But I could ask them, do they know someone that would fill this
Yeah.
out? Give them a QR code.
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay. And then we still have Plymouth Township Day neighborhood pages, the Facebook, social media. We could put a couple of demographic questions on the survey too. Like I wouldn't want to put anything that makes people uncomfortable, but something
Yep.
like age group, gender.
I was thinking.
I mean, enough maybe that we could be like, oh, we still don't have any 70-year-olds, or oh, look, we have, 30% of them are 70 plus. Like that'd be helpful to know.
I'm gonna go political here, I'm very gentle. Be careful with gender, just because I work in the
Yeah, I was
educational
actually
side.
thinking that too.
And you
Yeah.
need to put out more than just male and female, or you
Yeah,
make it
no,
into
you're right.
something like,
Yeah,
but if you
it's-
put in that age group,
Mhm.
it may be enough, like we may not be able to,
No,
go
you're
down
right.
to that
Yeah,
gender.
sure.
I don't wanna upset anyone, and then someone's like, well, they put out a survey and they only put
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
education, you just see a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
different
like
things, I don't wanna
either
upset.
way,
Yeah.
you could, yeah.
So I'm like, are you gonna upset maybe an older crowd that goes, well, there only should be 2, but then you're gonna upset a younger crowd that says, no, there should be 4.
No, you're right.
I
You're
don't
right.
wanna get anyone upset in there.
Okay. So we'll go with age. Does that sound
I think
okay?
age is a good thing though,
Yeah.
like a
think
bracket,
age
like
is
I think that's
Yeah,
great to
age
see,
is good.
like our
Yeah.
younger, like what our
Age
younger.
matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Age matters.
Yeah.
I don't know that gender matters as much, but age matters because
Mm-hmm.
of technology.
Okay. Is there any other demographic that we should think about including?
Maybe if you really want to know if you're hitting the rental people, is if you're a homeowner or not.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Could that be upsetting to anybody for?
I mean, nobody's putting their name on it.
Yeah.
And you could make it an optional.
Maybe we
You
should
can make it optional,
Yeah.
and then if they're really upset, they just skip it.
I
Maybe
think,
we should
yeah,
have a
you could always
statement
put,
about how it's
prefer
how
not
it's
to
anonymous,
specify.
Too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not recording your information.
Yeah. No, that's good, because I know people always think, like, even with a QR code, like, you can track it down. It's
Right.
me, somebody's going to track this IP address. So maybe even just calling that out. would be-
Yes.
Okay, so that sounds good. So age and optionally, whether or not you're a homeowner.
I think that's a good choice.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um,
home ower.
Right, sorry?
We're a home ower.
Oh, or-
Yeah.
Some people are
Check that
homeowners,
box.
Others are homeowners. That's another joke
Yeah,
about
there you
homeowners.
go.
Sorry.
That is true.
Begin your
So
homeowner.
it sounds like one of the other things we should do, though, is tighten up our question set based on our experience interviewing, and maybe also based on what we heard, because we've got a chance to kind of go, well, we heard some of this, like, let's pull that thread a little bit, or let's validate whether or not that's true. So we could, I realize I want to be respectful of your time. I realize we said 8:30, and I don't know if anybody has like a drop dead 8:30 exactly time schedule. If you do, we'll finish at 8:30. We've got a few extra minutes. What I was going to say is maybe we could just do a quick peek at what's here and use it to, if nothing else, get some first round information and tighten up our question set. Does that make sense? So do you want to? Why don't we each just grab a question, call it your own, just kind of like take a look at what's there, and then we'll do a once around and just give everybody the down low. Like here's what I saw here. Here's some things I think we should be aware of, or threads we need to pull. Just anything that would be helpful as we tighten up the question set. Pick any question, and we'll take a couple of minutes to absorb it, and then we'll do a walkabout to each one.
Are we doing the ones up front too?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You got those? Sure. So if you get like this will be your set.
You want me to do this set or want me to do that?
Either you pick.
I don't care, I can do them both if they're normal.
All right.
Figure it out.
No, I think we've got enough bodies. What do we have? Here, so I'll take, you got this one, Bruce?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. You got that? Okay. So if you want a pen, if you want to mark anything up.
I need two of those, I can't see.
Yeah, so just anything you want to highlight.
We're done. Yeah, that's a lot of Facebook.
I can do another one. Oh, I know. You're looking, if you're looking for it, I can give it like a.
What's that?
And Frank Solomon, approach constantly and
Lawyer friendly. That works. I had a diversity of opinions. Some people like it, some people don't.
Did you need one? I was gonna say, 'cause I took two.
If you got it, that's fine.
I thought of something that should be over here. And I've already told it. This really should be.
That's ambitious.
Yeah.
Count me in.
YouTube channel, podcast. But it's kind of like, right, like social people want like first.
Yeah, we love social media.
Yeah, social
Yeah.
media, any way we can sort of online and connect with people to be the first thing. One of the things I thought was really interesting, I talked to
Yeah.
people that said, like, we go so often to, right, that is what there's, because they conversation.
Yeah, they're like cozy spaces.
Yeah, and they're back and forth, like you can post something and I can go, that's cool, tell me more, who's your plumber? Like they like that, they like
Transactional.
the community, like not just like we're throwing stuff out. And so it was interesting, right, that's what people were saying. Down there. Everybody around. Exactly.
Website is put the link to the other one.
Yeah.
Like if you go on GPCC and all of a sudden it's like, well, I need something.
Yeah,
from Plymouth Township. I want to go to Plymouth Township. I have a link to go directly to Plymouth Township or Plymouth Police, but then you have to cross the line.
However,
Yeah, no, it is quite hard to get from the police department to our website, township
Right, but if
website.
we put a link on there,
Yeah.
if you need something from Plymouth Township here, this is a GPCC here, like, I don't know.
Again, that's more of a creation thing. At some point, when we get ready to create it.
No, it's because I think people go to different things. I think they get confused. They go, well, GPCC, it's never the trash get made. No, but if you're on GPCC, you go to Plymouth.
You're right.
Just to do it, because there's something.
we talked to somebody before, I think I go on the Plymouth Township Facebook page. But wait a minute, no, is that the GPCC? Like they, like it all blended together.
Well, I think my neighbor answered that. That's it. That's your answer. You call. That's it. That's all you do. I'm like, are you serious? That's all you do. Because we walk every day. She's like, yeah, pick up the phone and call. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, don't you have another answer other than that? Like, I'm giving her crap. But I think, like, that's how we were ingrained to, like, last minute things. If I can't find it or I don't have the kids find it, then I pick up the phone and call. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't do that very often. I just.
How we doing, friends?
We're good?
Good? All right, why don't we start at the first question and just run through, why don't we just hit some highlights? Like, let's just talk about like what's here, what do we see, and what does that tell us about what we need to do next? Even if what we need to do next is tighten up or ask another question. Sound good?
Yes. Where you want to start?
I was gonna say, this is actually where the survey started, so if we wanna just kind of walk the survey.
Gotcha.
Ready? Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's all good, friends. We figured we would just start at the start of the survey and just kind of walk through. And again, if we all just want to hit like here's the theme or here are the highlights, and we can use these to inform the next set of survey. If we're going to tighten up the survey, let's use what we just learned to tighten it up.
So if you were looking for events or specific information within Plymouth Township, where would you go for information? Which of these, if any, do you use on a regular basis? There's over 30 people that actually use the township website. I don't know how many people we surveyed, but I'm going to go with that's a pretty good number. And then as you get down into social media, a lot of it's Facebook. So, but you know, it's between GPCC, Plymouth Police, Township, things like that. I was just mentioning, like, when we go to create this at some point, maybe it'd be a good idea on these things here, or even like on the websites, to link them to the other ones. Like, I feel like people go to GPCC and they're like, oh, I need Plymouth Township. Instead of Googling Plymouth Township, here's a link for Plymouth Township. Here's a link for Plymouth Police.
That's a good
Like,
idea.
yeah, just have those kind of linked. They're easier to find. Other things, you know, beyond the curb patch, the sewer bills, we talked about those. Cracks me up living in White Marsh, but hey, wherever we need to get information, we get it. It's all good. Talking Plymouth. And then obviously some of the other things, but these are the bigger ones. Residents, always communication, having those, you know, communications within your own neighborhood is always a good thing. Good call for GPCC front desk. Yay! So that's always good things. The chief, I mean, I've talked to him too. He's pretty approachable. The community center website, things like that. So, you know, it's definitely going towards that social media, anything we can get social out there as much as we can. That's where people are going. So how do we link them all together?
Cool. One of the things I was just saying, Tom, that jumped out at me is in talking to people, and I think it's in this and in this, Like, how many people want to be part of something that feels like a conversation? Like, I'm going to go talk to my neighbors and other residents,
Right.
or I'm going to Women of White Marsh or my neighborhood page, like, because it's like an interaction. I can actually see, oh, look, Becky posted such and such, and then I can reply and go, and by the way, does anybody have a plumber? Like, they want to be part of a discussion.
The Talk in Plymouth does that a lot, you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for good and for bad, right? There's crazy things out there, but,
Yeah.
you know.
You gotta pick and choose.
But that's where people, that's where they go to find out stuff. Like, is it true that the water main broke on Ridge Pike? Like, that's where they go. Anyway, cool, thank you. You got it. So, what did people think about what they use? Like, what do they like specifically? And very much validating what Dr. Facebook shows, social media. They like the idea of text, an extra app would be okay. Like, it is really based on, like, get stuff to me in a social media format or via text. Like, it's technology. That's how people, that's what they like about it. And there was one comment here and one here just about things, again, sort of being more dynamic. Like, the newsletter is good, but things change so quickly. Like, by the time the newsletter comes out, it feels helpful, but not, like, immediately relevant. And a number of people said, like, I want to know, like, more quickly, like, what's the news, with the dynamic stuff, tell me the stuff that's important today. The road, Plymouth Road is closed. Oh, good, that's today's news. I like that. So, those are the things I liked. I'm afraid of what they didn't like, or frustrating.
So have information sent to schools for events, like community day, digital signs to get information out quicker. We were talking about like the different rules, like there's regulations.
The time is 8:30. The community center closing in 30 minutes. Again, the
You can
time
only
is
have
8:30.
one
The
for
community
10
center closing in
seconds.
30
Yeah,
minutes.
The digital signage can only be, for like each slide, can only be 10 seconds.
Ours is 10 seconds. Karen said 8 is optimal.
Eight's on the turnpike, but when you're moving 65 miles an hour.
Right.
So they figure it out depending on how fast you're going, to the point when you can actually read it, to when you're past it, that you're not distracted.
Yeah.
We're trying to still read something that you're already past.
So obviously people
that's
think
all
that would be
timed
helpful.
with-
And then surveys and Google Forms, we talked about that extensively. No email address or phone for the staff or council. That stuff is there. It's, I guess it's just hard to find, obviously.
I don't know
So,
that
you know,
part. I
you
don't think
open
it's
it up
hard
and it's
to-
on page
Yeah,
1, so
that
I
part
don't know.
I don't think
It's
it's
hard
hard
to
to.
that was one of my people,
one
and
of
I
your people
went
could find
myself, and I it came right up for me.
Yeah,
so.
that part.
It's on
I'm
page
like-
1.
Yeah.
And then we talked about more customized opt-in for different news and notifications. And like lack of dynamic interactions on the website. And I agree with that. I think it could be more interesting when navigating the website. So that's where my grade sits on that one.
I have one. I haven't written this anywhere, but I just wanted to mention it. I thought one of my people had a great idea for apartment dwellers. Is to possibly require them, the apartment companies, to hand out some sort of informational flyer for the township as part of a new rental package.
Oh, that's a
Maybe
good
even
idea.
maybe even do that by
Yeah.
Didn't we used to do that?
passing out a law,
Yeah.
an ordinance. And I just thought that was a great idea. I don't know why I didn't write it down. It was on my list somewhere. But
That's a very cool
it's
idea.
just stack. But I mean, you could even have the QR code for feedback, you know?
Yeah.
You
on
could even
there.
have the QR code for here's Plymouth Township. Like,
Yeah, right.
Even if you didn't want
Yeah.
to do tons and tons
Here's
of
our,
paper,
here's
that QR code.
here's our Facebook page, here's
Yeah.
our,
Yeah.
website.
All
If
of
you
it.
want to provide feedback about any of this, here's
Yeah.
another.
That's a great idea, kind of a cool, like, welcome page, too.
Yeah, just,
I love
it should be something real simple, like a one page. And just, if you require it from all rental agencies, I mean, at least the
You
big
might
ones.
even be able to pop it into realtors when they're selling houses, buying and selling houses.
Oh, yeah.
Here's like, welcome to Plymouth, or 2,
Yeah.
or 3, whatever.
That's not going to work.
Haha.
That's not going to work.
All right, let's keep track of that.
Yep.
And some apartment complexes do have bulletin boards. Like if we send something to Place One Apartments and like Plymouth Hill Condos, they'll put it usually in the elevator. They have things where people read because they're in there every day.
Good idea.
All right.
What happened?
What's going on?
I had a
Sharpie.
Sharpie one.
You had this simple?
Can I borrow that?
Oh, yeah,
I wanna-
please.
I wanna
Please,
write
yeah.
down-
About it though is, like, we mentioned over there that 30 people go to, off of there and went to the website, and then the social media, and then even out of here, it's showing 75% of the people that we have here that have visited the website. So on some level, I think that increases maybe the importance of the website on whether, I mean, now, once, after we bring everything together and have to identify the good and the bad, but at least people are going to it, so they are utilizing it, they are aware of it, and so now optimizing it would be, the next steps of that.
And the next one was to make it more user-friendly. That came up a few times. Hard to find what you're looking for. There is an awful lot of information there. Yeah, the drop down should have the most recent year at the top. But overall, sort of views on the main page is convenient. You can do that. I don't know if everybody knows. I heard some say about paying their sewer bill. That it's.
That's my own comment here.
But that you don't have to pay the fee. Everybody option knows that.
Choose, right?
Yeah, and, you can always mail a check and that kind of thing, and you won't pay cash. But you can also set up for direct payment if you want. It doesn't cost anything. There's a bank fee.
She said I could pay on my phone.
Yeah, you don't pay. I mean, and it's usually under $100. You know what your bill is, so you know how much money you have in your account at that time for that purpose. But anyway, easier fun stuff. And that's obviously why we're going to build the website. That's why we're here. And then, I don't know, if anybody else do the next one.
Yeah, I did this one too,
Yeah.
so not here to repeat what you said, but my takeaway from it is that the opinions are kind of all over the place on the website. Some people seem to like it, others not so much. I think it's inherent.
I also think it's a lot of information to organize. And there's a lot of information, like already on the first page, which I feel like can be overwhelming for people.
But, I mean, to that point, it's almost like it's hard to say it's not there.
Right,
You may not be able to get to it,
Right.
but it's like, it's definitely there.
And that's my frustration, because I know it's there, but I understand it's not easy to get to.
Right.
You can't find it. We know where it is, but because we're putting it there or using it more.
One of my comments, which I put up there, I guess probably misplaced it, is that one person said they like it because you can find everything in the third place.
Well, I love that. I can too.
So-
But you have to be familiar with it.
Yeah.
And how it's set up.
That's really the issue.
That's the issue. And the newer websites that other townships have, it is easier. They have more drop downs on the front page. We don't have drop. We have
I think
old fashioned drop downs.
They have like the most pertinent information like right there. I think you have to really dig through all. We have so much. Sometimes it's a good problem to have, but they can, depending on who's seeing it, it can sound like that.
Yeah, and they can work.
And I feel like people's intentions now online is really short, yeah. So they need it like as easy as possible.
Yeah, the other thing is to explicitly create a mobile version. too.
Oh, yeah.
Because so many people just don't use a computer and use a phone.
Right. A lot of my people were saying it's hard to, when you Google it, is it hard to find? Like,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a lot of
easy.
people.
Yeah, it's like the 10th
Plymouth
document.
Township, Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan
Yes.
and then Plymouth,
We get a lot of Facebook calls, so apparently they are struggling with the same
Houston
problem.
County,
Yeah, OJ.
Pennsylvania, there's 2 Plymouth townships.
Yeah.
We get Michigan, and Michigan a lot. And people from Michigan call us. Yeah. They want to tell us about the problem on the street. We don't have
I
to
heard
say.
that-
They don't realize, area code, thing, okay,
Those
so
are area codes are funny these days,
I
right? You
heard,
never
I heard
know.
the pizza was from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's still on
Massachusetts. I'll say, not right.
So the good news is, I mean, quickly, like, people go there, they recognize there's lots of information, which maybe means to make it a little easier to find what they want.
Well, it's when we find like what's really important to them, but
Yeah.
things up so they can find.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because on the next one,
Definitely garbage pickup.
yes, every person said trash. You can say like, trash is a big one, and like, when there's the days we don't have the trash, everyone's trying to figure out, is the next day, but is it the next day or the next trash day?
Yeah, I
So
totally
we
know
have
that.
Mondays.
I got a couple of neighbors that I know have it down, and I go outside and like,
Yeah.
yes, no, okay, I'm good, now I know which way to go.
How about now people are looking at me and I'm like, don't think I know. Don't follow me.
Can I mention something else that is not been mentioned at all, I think, in any of this? But today to me because my trash wasn't picked up. And I called up to the township and I couldn't navigate through the phone system. So that's part of communications too. The phone system.
Was it press 1, press 2, press 3?
Yeah,
press
yeah,
4?
well, I figured it out, but it took me, but I had to call back first.
We're living in a phone system as well.
But
we
there
are.
we go.
But yeah, we are getting into phone systems.
Duly noted down.
Okay.
But-
I mean, I'm a resident too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, no, we don't want it to be hard.
No.
Did you ever get picked up or no?
Yeah, no, not
No,
yet.
not yet. Did you just left it out and did you leave a message with them on the
Yeah,
phone?
they're supposed to come back.
What people want, they basically want to know about road work, trash, community events, and crime laws.
Private works.
And then the information they want pushed to them is trash and road. Oh, and I did this one too.
Yes.
How would you like to receive the information? Overwhelming amount of people looks like they would like text message and email. Which I mean, I'd rather get a text message personally than an email too, because I don't even check my email, my personal email every day, but I look at text messages every day.
Yeah. People come down on
Yeah.
either way. They don't think they like this very much. Unless it's.
Some apps do push notifications. Like our community center app does push notifications. And they have, there's a list of opt-ins and opt-outs. If you only want to get a push notification for the pool closure, you can just opt into that. So that could be one option for, getting text messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something someone had mentioned.
Yeah.
Like from an app, when you were the notification, like, it comes through and it'll just come through, you don't even have to go to the text message.
It comes through
Right.
just like a text.
Right.
Did we have the last one? Just anything else?
Is this one the same one?
No, these are together.
These two are together.
And that is just anything else.
That's just
anything else.
Oh, I don't
I did this one, yeah. Well, I just started with this one, I feel like it was kind of all over the place. I put town halls because a lot of people suggested that, which I was surprised. And but see, here, like a few people said this, but some, in most cases, I'm like, was I leading them to say that? And was it my questioning that led them to say that? You know?
Yeah. Isn't all of that?
No, we have agendas on there, but there's not supporting documents on there. I mean, one person did bring it up on his own and said, I would be able to more easily decide if I needed to attend a meeting, if I could see the supporting documentation and not just the agenda.
Do you get anything other than that? Because like to me, like if the agenda's important, I go without documentation.
Because they can't make every meeting.
Well, why not, why doesn't it work just off the agenda? They want to see what all the conversation's going to be about? Is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I do have to admit, like sometimes there are long things to sit through and there's a whole bunch of stuff you may not care about. Yeah.
Meetings like we do, are they on Zoom? Do you have to?
They're
rehearse it?
recorded, like
Yeah.
Right now,
voice
because they're
recorded.
here, they're just audio. When we get back to the township, we'll read audio and video.
Also,
Yeah.
has anyone get anything about live or live stream meetings? Like anyone?
Asking.
No
Yeah,
one
anyone in
asked
the
you that,
surveys?
but I do think
I
that
think
more
you
easier
might go on
than
first.
something we should ask about. Because I do feel like a lot of people say they just can't make this up. Yeah. And other townships do have like more
They have live.
supporting documentation and more
Do
stuff,
people come
you
to
know, with the agenda. Some.
It depends on the topic, but generally, there are. If we're, yeah, no, the room was packed the other night, but it was officer of the year.
Yeah,
and
it's like
board
people
people
getting-
all the fun things, the Citizens Academy, and all the, a lot of people getting like awards and certificates, and then say, you can stay for the meeting or you can leave.
The place cleared.
They're knocking chairs
We had
down.
two people stay, you know, one had something to say at the end and one didn't, so, no, they're not really paying attention.
People might want to come out and see the new auditorium.
All right, so I'm sorry, go ahead, Kristen, did you have more?
No, I don't think so. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I said this to Joanna. Being politically neutral. I've never seen us not be politically neutral. Well, but she was saying it's how the information is received by somebody. Like the plastic bag town hall is definitely being looked at by some who wasn't part of CPAC. Oh, it's the Democratic Council, so they're going to push their agenda.
Well, that one was one in that, I don't know who that was, but, my friend gave it to some people and then they emailed back to me. But I was trying to, I'm not sure if they meant if we are politically neutral in communications, because it's
Oh, like as a positive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I took it as negative.
Right, or as
Yeah, that's a really good.
Depends on how you receive it, right?
Yeah, that's
Well,
really
one of my people definitely did not feel that was the case.
that we
Yes.
were neutral or weren't?
Not.
Really? Did he give examples?
Yeah. I would concur.
Yeah.
No, but that, I mean, that's something to at least be aware
Yeah,
of,
it is.
right?
It is.
Sometimes message sent is not message received.
Correct.
So maybe just over toggling to
People's,
look for that.
people's perceptions are valid, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whether they're correct or not.
Like what you mentioned about
Yes.
the male female, right? Like,
Yeah.
depending on how it comes out, someone could take it as someone pushing an agenda.
No, you,
Appease everyone and not upset anyone,
Right.
that's not what the intention was.
Right.
But it does come down to like how people take it, and your intentions can be good and it's always positive, but if someone takes it that wrong way, like one person.
well, to your point, the demographic question, like, it was a lose-lose. Like, no matter which way we might have put it on there, someone might have been offended that we didn't do it the other way.
Right.
So it's a great point, with no ill intent intended.
Yes.
I'm glad you caught that. But I think that speaks to this, some things that really have no political intention whatsoever might not be that way. Wow, so this is a lot of information. Do you feel like this is a helpful start, at least, to think about maybe reframing a next round of data collection? So.
The time is 8:45. The community center closing in 15 minutes. Again, the time is 8:45. The community center closing in 15 minutes. At this time, please make your way towards the exit. Thank you.
All right, so we've agreed, it sounds like step one should probably be to refine the actual survey questions. And then step two is to think about how we put those out. And I think we came up with a nice list of possible ways to get those out, both in with QR code and Google form, and also in paper product and potentially paper product information. So maybe we should start with like refining the questions. So last time, Kristen and Stephanie kindly agreed to start the process. Gave me a chance to take a look at it. Does anyone, like, does it bring you great joy to think about, if I could only get my mitts on these questions, I'd like to start refining these questions? Is anyone joyful about that? I appreciate your candor.
If need be, but.
I would do it.
Um,
I'm not like dying to do it, but I would do it.
Like, you wouldn't be sobbing in the parking lot if you didn't get the job.
So I suggest that the people who aren't currently opposed to it all kind of throw straws or something.
I'll do it too, I don't care. If you want me to do it and try to put it in Google Doc and see what the drop downs are, that can try to create something.
And it could even be two steps, like it could be, let's get the questions together, and then, like, if you're like, I've done my job.
I can make the
I don't have to do that, I don't have to do it for me.
I can do
Would it be helpful if a few people are like, I'm not opposed and I help if needed? Like, do we want to say, like, a couple of people who physically, like, do whatever, Zoom yourselves together, get in a room together?
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
think that would be helpful for refining the questions.
Okay.
I'm more active on that side. Because I know me, I would start overthinking it and we're trying to make it simple.
I'd be happy to lead a Zoom about refining the questions.
Okay. So how about if we say this? If you are willing to lead Zoom, you put the Zoom invite out to the group, and anyone who is so inclined to be part of the conversation can come to the conversation. And those who are like, I'd rather just see the final product and weigh in, can wait till then to do it. But anyone who wants to at least jump in and be a thought partner on the design. Does that sound fair? Okay. Or maybe, it's the chicken and the egg thing, right? If you put a date out, you don't have to be like, I would have been there, but you picked a date that I'm not available. So maybe.
Put a date out and see who goes.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
One in the middle of the day, do that one at the same time.
So then we'll do a round one, a couple of people can get together, get a set of questions, put it out to the rest of the group so everybody will have a legitimate chance to weigh in knowing what you've heard today. We'll finalize it, and then we'll work on the next steps. And I would be willing, as that group is doing their working their magic, to at least summarize, here are all the things we said, the places we go, and maybe we need to start clarifying, like, who's doing what, Allison, we talked to somebody at Pinnacle, like, just kind of get a list together, make sure we're not missing anything. I'll put that out for everybody to react to. So simultaneously, we'll be getting the how we reach and what we reach with.
So question about order of things. If we're going to reach out to some additional people, should we wait until we have this new questionnaire or go ahead with this for now?
I think we wait. I think we wait. Yeah.
Because people thought it was a little complex.
We make it simpler, maybe we'll get some more.
Yes.
Better decision.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of good answers, but if people think it's shorter, they're more apt to be like, click, click, I can just do this, leave it out, and keep some of those write-ins away.
Yeah, brevity is.
Yeah, I agree.
Always do one yes or no to check.
Yeah, like, comments, like comments if you need to.
I'm way more likely to do some multiple choice than open-ended.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Most people are.
I look at a form of open-ended and I'm like, oh, that's gonna take a while.
Yeah, my husband's been in like car sales for his whole life, and he says now they're like moving further and further away from having more choices, so they have less choices
Yeah.
because people can't make the decision.
Yes, package A, B, or C.
Yeah, the more choices there are, the more likely they are to not make a decision at all and not buy. And I'm like, yeah.
Your car is black or white, pick.
Henry Ford will also.
No, you're not Ford.
But, I mean, it used to be a lot of colors, car choices, but today, not so much, right?
It's a good point. So it sounds like some design suggestions for the survey builders would be maybe more multiple choice or check all that apply. A few places for open-ended, because we do want to still capture like those more
people
people's
who really want to give
But
more.
it sounds like maybe
Yeah.
less of that and more of the keep it easy, check the box.
Also, if it's multiple choice, like predestined answers, we can do it like analytics on it. Because you can throw it into like an Excel and you can visualize it. So if we do open-ended, you're not really gonna have that. Some open-ended might be good, but I think we really.
Analyze it otherwise.
Yeah.
And so, real quick, like with the open-ended, not necessarily with the question, like I get the surveys and you go through them, the first, whatever, then they give you that last box for comments. With that, I don't usually write it.
I don't
But
either,
I'm
but it's
saying,
good, it's there.
right, it's there for the people that really want to say more and, you know. And then to your point where we can do analytics or the core stuff, sift through whatever comments, like we did here, see what's common.
I even think on the Google Doc, that when you put it into the analytics or Excel, you can add that column for comments. Like it'll be free text, and it'll give you all of them, and you won't break it out, but you can still see it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sound good? Solid plan?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm wondering, I'm thinking we should keep, it seems like a shame to throw these away since like there's a lot.
I'm gonna take pictures of them before we take them down.
All right, so let's do both. Kristen, if you want to take pictures, we won't start taking them off the walls, but then we'll also keep these just in case,
Okay.
I don't know, your phone falls into the river. And
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Or the toilet, that's probably the most.
That's where mine would
That's
go.
the most
Thank you for
likely.
staying a little bit later. And we'll also do the same Google poll trickery for our next meeting, which typically is 3 to 4 weeks out. Does that sound okay?
Yep.